Boston, one of America's oldest thriving cities and the largest in New England. Boston's rich history and culture are etched into its old buildings and landscapes. One cannot pick up an American history book without coming across names like Ben Franklin or John Adams, or phrases like, "One if by land, two if by sea," or "Don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes." But more importantly, Boston is home to a well-diverse population of 4.59 million people of all colors, creeds, and walks of life. Boston is a city of neighborhoods. Though lesser known than the North End, Beacon Hill, and downtown, some of the neediest of these neighborhoods include Dorchester, Mattapan, Roxbury, Jamaica Plain, and Roslindale. This inner city area of only 19 square miles is home to almost 250,000 people, and not a single independent Baptist church. These neighborhoods are plagued with crime, homelessness, and broken homes. In fact, according to a 2015 survey conducted by the Barna Group, Boston is the third least churched city in the United States. These people need the gospel.
Well, my spiritual beliefs are, I think that there is something in the universe that holds everything together, but that's just something that is, and we don't necessarily have to worship it, but just know it's there.
I have no spiritual beliefs. I'm agnostic.
I definitely believe that there's some higher power. I know there's like little signs every day that make me feel that way. I'm not sure if I believe in like specifically like say God or Jesus or like Buddha or something specific.
I'm very spiritual, but I don't believe in any particular religion.
To me, Jesus Christ is a guy who went through a bunch of tough times.
He's a very important person. He saved us from hell, I guess.
He was just a religious leader who had certain beliefs that were revolutionary at the time and achieved great following.
He was a great guy. His stories are exaggerations. Of course they exaggerated stories back then. I mean, that's how storytelling went.
He was a great teacher like a lot of other great teachers like Buddha, Muhammad.
He is the universal spiritual father.
Jesus Christ is just someone to live by his example.
If there is an afterlife, I think the person's spirit goes into the universe.
I don't believe in an afterlife.
You know, being able to judge right from wrong, if that's the way to achieve an afterlife, to get to it, I don't really believe in it anymore. I kind of believe we're all just going to be underground, hanging out.
You achieve it by abiding by the laws or the principles behind whatever you believe in.
Well, nobody knows. Everybody tells me there is.
I have no clue because I don't know anybody who's ever come back to tell me if there's an afterlife and what it's like.
How do we attain the afterlife? We attain the afterlife by living in a virtuous manner, by living for our fellow man.
You know, doing well and just doing not necessarily what any one religion says, but following what you think is moral and what is good, you know, will hopefully lead you there. And not that it's necessarily all of us, you know, together in one place, but it's something.
What a sobering thought it is that each of these people will spend eternity somewhere, whether they realize it or not. This is why the Lord has called us to be missionaries to Boston, more specifically the neediest inner city neighborhoods of Boston. I'm Nick Stelzig. My wife Lindsey and I are called to go to Boston, to evangelize the lost, to disciple believers, to plant local independent Baptist churches, and to train local leaders for the ministry. We believe that the reason for the prevalence of crime, poverty, and hopelessness in the inner city is a direct result of sin. And we know that sin has only one solution, and that solution is found in the gospel. Romans chapter 10 and verse 13 says, "For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved." But verse 14 continues and says, "How shall they call on him of whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent?"
Nick and I met while we were students at Ambassador Baptist College, and we were both serving at Every Nation Baptist Church in Charlotte, North Carolina. Nick was able to be involved with the newly arrived immigrants by teaching English classes and citizenship classes, and he also preached and taught simple English services. We were both able to work with the music ministry and the teen ministry. We dealt with teens who were in gangs, girls who had unwanted pregnancies, and teens who were from rough, broken homes. It was while we were serving in every nation that God called Nick and I to church plant in inner city Boston, Massachusetts.
It is my honor to recommend to you Nick and Lindsey Stelzig for your consideration. Nick and Lindsey have dedicated themselves to the work of reaching those in the inner city of Boston, Massachusetts, and planting New Testament Baptist churches. Nick grew up here in Maranatha Baptist Church for much of his childhood and teen years. Both he and Lindsey attended and graduated from Ambassador Baptist College in Lattimore, North Carolina. While students at Ambassador, they both were involved in ministering to the inner city of Charlotte, North Carolina. Through this experience, the Lord burdened them for the task of laboring to reach those who comprise one of the most neglected segments of our population. Nick and Lindsey are faithful members here, are involved in the work of the ministry, and have servants' hearts. It is our privilege to be their sending church for this work of church planting in Boston, and I am confident they will prove worthy of your prayerful consideration and a fruitful investment for your missionary outreach.
New England has been called the graveyard for preachers. The reason for this is because church planters and missionaries have come and they've gone, and most often it's a result of culture shock or lack of Christian fellowship. This being an issue that plagues all of New England, it specifically plagues inner city Boston, probably more than any other field. And to avoid becoming a casualty, it's our desire to work with Pastor Chris DiGiacomo for the first 2 years at Lifeline Baptist Church to gain some experience in dealing with New England culture and how we can minister effectively to those people.
Hello, my name is Pastor Chris DiGiacomo, and it's been my privilege for the past 6 years to pastor Lifeline Baptist Church here in Haverhill, Massachusetts. One of our desires as a church is to assist in other churches being started in the greater Boston area. And that's why our church is so excited about Brother Nick and his family coming here to the greater Boston area to start a church in the Dorchester area. And in the 2 years that Nick is planning on working with our church, once he has the support, it'll be a great opportunity for him to immerse himself in our ministry and to see how we operate and what we do, what's worked for us. It'll also give him an opportunity to acclimate to culture here in the Northeast. The winters are long and hard, and the temperament of the people sometimes can be a little difficult. But he'll have plenty of opportunity to get to know New Englanders and to see the loyal side of them. And more importantly, he'll get to see their need of Jesus Christ and their blindness to the truth of the gospel. And I believe Brother Nick will do a good job, and I'm looking forward to working with him. And I just prayerfully ask that you would consider supporting him in this very needy part of the country. And I will be praying for you and with you, that you'll be able to do everything you can to help Brother Nick, as we're going to do everything that we can to help Brother Nick. God bless you. Thank you so much.
We need your help. We need you to pray that the Lord would begin working in the lives of the people of Boston, that souls would be saved and lives changed by the gospel of Christ.
250,000 people. No gospel witness. How shall they hear without a preacher?